once I took art history, I think that's where my love of Europe and Western civilization really got legs, of knowing who we are. And I feel that it could play a gigantic role in the remoralization, the upliftment.
It's headed for the lake.
It's obviously like a category of history, right? And we also know that, in the 20th century and up until now, that the narrative and who controls that history, civilization, they've like torn the soul out of it. Yeah. So, for example, when I was learning in college, in my undergrad, going for a fine art degree, and of course I had to take a lot of art history classes, I was super passionate about it. I actually applied to do a summer program in Germany to study German Expressionism. Unfortunately, my college wouldn't allow me to go for whatever reason. I ended up going to Japan, and I know that leads to another question. But I was looking at the time period of the Impressionists, and they're just saying, oh, look at the Impressionists, they're so great, and they're so great. And I was like, and they kept talking about how the Impressionists were rebelling against the establishment of the day. And I was like, well, how about showing us the establishment? What are they rebelling against? And the paintings that were the established order of that time were exquisite, like amazing, phenomenal artwork that, the left essentially says, oh, that's just the old dead white men, like this kind of like anti-white male sentiment that they have, and that it must be deconstructed, it must be destroyed, and it has to be radicalized and all this other shit. So I kind of took my own time to I can't tell you how many nights I spent in the library at my university. They had an enormous collection of art history books, and I just spent again like hundreds of hours going through everything and diving into that stuff that I'm not learning in class, and recognizing it. At this point in my life, I don't remember all the names and dates or whatever. Don't test me. But I know the art, I know the look of it, I know the themes of it, and it's really who we are. It's just a continuation of our mythology, our history.
So what exactly is Impressionism?
So photography happened. Like the first camera was invented, and now this is a time when technology, the Industrial Revolution, all these things are happening that are really changing Europe and the West in many regards. Of course, we've got colonies and outposts around the world, and all, this is just a certain time in our history. So with the advent of the camera, it challenged painters and artists.
So that tracks.
Painters started to question, well, then what is painting? Painting is light and color. It's the medium, and so that's when so for example, if you look at Renoir, any of these type of classical Monet, they are not so much concerned about the realism of it, but rather about the energy of the light. Think of the word impression. So like, let's say if you wore glasses and you took your glasses off, everything would be a bit blurry. You could only see an impression. Not take a photograph of it with your paintbrush, but rather to get an impression of it. The beginning of minimalism, it's the beginning of deconstructionism. But you're starting to see as German Expressionism comes into play, that things are getting more violent and kind of there's a lot more action, I guess, in the visuals. Then you've got Futurism in Italy, which is almost more graphic design in the sense of the way that they recompose things. You can say that there's a relationship between that and breaking apart the picture plane, which Picasso did. And so again, it's just gradually all the pieces are coming apart up to the point where World War II is over, and then all of the so-called great artists of Europe move to America, and the New York School abstract expressionism starts. Now, that's really, really where the Jews come in and they take control of everything. They own the museums, the galleries, the finances, the art criticism. Clement Greenberg is the famous Jew who, in a sense, invented American abstract expressionism, in the sense that he's the one that popularized it through his writings. And, we're entering the nuclear age. Humanity is struggling with this question of existence. The world's split in half between communism in the East and capitalism in the West. There's a whole other thing happening here. Of course, pop art starts. I always call Andy Warhol the Antichrist of art. I really feel like he's just, he's the perfect image of what our enemies want. The total deconstruction, the pulling out of spirituality from art.